They said that we are terrorists. It is not true. We are innocent people. We just demand some human rights. Immediately, the Syrian regime started to shoot the people, all types of weapons, including the chemical weapons. We thought that all of us will die.
Dr. Amani Ballour, welcome to the show. It's an honor to have you here.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
Now, I will say that my guests come to this show either because they're friends of mine that I obviously have known for a while, or they're friends of friends. And when a friend of mine introduced me to you and gave me a little bit of the bio of what you did, I didn't trust it. It sounded too powerful, and I was like, hang on a minute, I've got to check this out for myself. I'm going to tell a few people, you're a renowned Syrian pediatrician and human rights activist, best known for your work during the Syrian civil war, where you managed an underground hospital known as The Cave that ended up becoming an Oscar-nominated documentary. How did this happen?
Well, I mean, to me, also, I didn't expect this. I just was a medical student. I wanted to be a doctor, pediatrician, to work in my clinic, maybe to work with the kids. That was my dream. Then, suddenly the Syrian revolution started in 2012. And immediately the Syrian regime started to shoot the people, to kill everyone, participate in the protests, kill everyone. I mean, women, children. And then they started, after the protest expanded and expanded, they started to kill everyone by other weapons, to bomb us. They used the warplanes, all types of weapons, including the chemical weapons. Then I decided, and actually many doctors that time decided to flee and to protect themselves, their families maybe. I was a medical student. I graduated in 2012, and I decided to stay to help these innocent people who are being killed for, they do nothing. And the protest was, demanding only some human rights, some democracy, freedom, because we had nothing in Syria. We had dictator, and before him that was his father. So for more than 50 years, we are under the control of these people, and they control everything in Syria and prevent everyone to say a word maybe about human rights or democracy. So I saw these innocent people, I saw the casualties, the children, and I decided to stay with these people to help them. But I never expect that it will last for, nearly 6 years. It started in 2011, and then we started working. They targeted the hospitals. They bombed many hospitals. We moved underground. We worked underground, start to expand the place. It was like a basement. That's why we called it the cave. It was dark. It was underground. It wasn't, very prepared to be a hospital. We expanded, develop it, bring devices, try to bring as possible. Especially the area was besieged because the Syrian regime besieged us and prevent food and medicine and medical supplies. It was very hard to get the resources, the medicine. After this, that lasted for 4 years. Then in 2016, I became the manager of this hospital. It became the central hospital in the area. It became very big, and we make these tunnels to connect the hospital with other places to be able to move underground, because it was hard to move on the ground because of the heavy bombing all the time. And that lasted for more than 6 years. I stayed as a manager of the hospital for 2 years before we forced to leave in 2018.
Just wow. You did this, and there's a lot of questions we're going to go through. In order for you to be able to do what you needed to do, a lot of what you needed to be doing had to be held secret. Yet you built up this labyrinth, and you say about the cave, and getting medical supplies was very, very hard. Where did the documentary come about? And surely bringing cameras in only added to the danger environment that you were already in.
Well, from the beginning of the revolution and the protest, many people carry cameras and start to film to show the world what's happening. And after this, and many people, many young people in my town, in the places which called Eastern Ghouta, carry cameras and make videos in the hospital before the started filming the documentary, so the world see everything happening, see the innocent people, the suffering, and in 2016, when I became the manager of the hospital, uh, three photographers came to me, and it's not normal in my community, it's conservative community, to find a woman manage a hospital in a war zone area in very circumstances, very bad, and hard circumstances. So I wasn't very normal, so they asked me to film in the hospital and to show the people, to make a documentary. They asked me, they want to make a film, and at the beginning, I said, no, it's dangerous for the hospital and dangerous for me, and
Sure.
it's not easy to work in the hospital with very, we were, always working day and night, always busy. I thought it's not okay, to be filmed all the time. I said no, and they came again and again. For three times, I said, no, I don't want you to do this. But after this, after, 4 years, it was 4 years before bombing, siege, starving, people dying around us, and yeah, no one do anything to help us. I thought that it's impossible to document. It's important to document this and to show the people around the world what's happening, and to tell them that the Syrian regime and its allies, Russia and Iran, they lie. They say that we are terrorists. We wanted to show the people that it is not true. We are innocent people. We just demand some human rights. And to tell the truth, from this documentary, that's why I said yes. And to show the struggle also of women in my community, because I was criticized many times when I managed the hospital just because I'm a woman. So I say it's important to show the people this. And I said, okay, let's film this. But of course, I didn't expect that it will, be a Oscar nominated or something like this. I really didn't think about it and didn't know where this film will reach. What will happen of this film. We thought that all of us will die and no one know about us. So I said, why not make this film and show the people there was people here, fighting for their rights. So maybe we will be inspiring, because many people were killed around us, our relatives, our friends, my colleagues, in front of our eyes. So we thought we will not survive. So yeah, it happened. They filmed for nearly 2 years, and yeah, we survived. And this film, went out, and people see this film to know more about Syria.
What did it do for your life? The actual movie, having this, I can understand the purpose of the documentary, and I'm glad you explained it, to get people to see what was really going on. And quite as you say, you didn't expect it to become a nominated movie, and it was. So what did that then do for your life and for your cause and for the opinions of people that don't know what you were going through?
Well, it was, very important. Everything changed in my life after I forced to leave Syria in 2018. Started my journey from Turkey, and then I moved to France, then Germany, then finally I settled down here in the US. So many things happened there. But after the documentary showed, many people watched it and know about Syria. Many people didn't know anything. About Syria, about the truth. They always said, it's a civil war. We have nothing to do with this. It's not a civil war. It's the war that the Syrian regime and its allies, they raised against the people of Syria. It's, innocent people. They are the people of Syria who started this, asking for their rights. And then the Syrian regime started to bomb them, kill them. After this, people started to carry weapons, defend themselves. And then we have some military factions. Also, they have their, mistakes and sometimes crimes. But this is how it started. It's not a civil war. So I told this through this documentary. a lot of a lot of things I wanted people to know. They know through this documentary the suffering of the children, that the Syrian regime were besieging many children, many cancer patients. I mean, babies. They prevent the baby formula, and many babies died because of this. Many malnourished cases for children in the Eastern Ghouta. That was my goal, to tell the people. So a lot of people watch this film and know about Syria, and many people advocate for Syria, speak up for us. And we need more. The situation in Syria is still very bad. The president who killed all these people, still a president, still controlling Syria. So that's why this was my goal of writing the book, also telling this story through the book, and tell more and more about what happened in Syria.
So tell us the title of the book and where they can get it.
Yeah, the book is the National Geographic is the publisher. It's released on 5 March, so it's now in the bookstores and online. It's available online. You can find it everywhere.
What was the name of the book again?
It's The Cave, also the same name of the documentary.
Perfect.
And I would like to thank my co-author, also Rania Abu Zaid, to write this book in this great way.
Perfect. We're going to be putting the links in here for not only the book, but also the documentary as well, so people can get a full understanding. I'm interrupting this podcast for 35 seconds to give you more value. If you are an ambitious entrepreneur looking for the opportunity in everything you come across, don't just listen to this podcast. Imagine taking part in these conversations every week. Imagine having a new network of creative and disruptive entrepreneurs to support and push you into becoming the person you can be. With this high level and exclusive community, it exists. Head to simsdistillery.com to learn more. One of the things that caught me when I started to look into your story was I felt as though there were two wars that you were fighting. There was the war of Syria and you looking after the people and the battles and the hard injuries from war. But then there was also the battle of people looking at you in your position and going, hey, you're a woman. You shouldn't be here. So you should be at home looking after the kids. There was that kind of battle going on as well. Where did your strength come from? Because that's what amazed me early on, was that there were people that they were looking away from what was needed and looking at you going, hey, you're in the wrong place. You shouldn't be able to hold this power. How did you handle that?
Well, it was really frustrating because I know my community. I mean, it's conservative community. We have these customs, we have this culture, traditions against women. Men control everything in my community. I mean, not in all Syria. I'm talking about countryside of Syria. It's more than, different a little of cities. But I mean, to see a woman in a position, it's not it's not common. So I thought that it's, wartime, everything was difficult. And I was working as a pediatrician in the hospital, and that was okay for everyone. But when I became the manager of the hospital, so they started, to say that we don't want a woman. I mean, I was working with you. I was working. I was helping, doing my best to help. You didn't say a woman, but now in a position that controlling also other men in the hospital. There's, men and women, and most of the people who work in the hospital were men, not women. So we're nearly 100 people. Then they started to say, no, you can't do this. You are a woman. They started to say that you are unable to do this because you are a woman. You're gonna fail. And I said, oh no, this is not correct. I mean, I'm a doctor like other doctors, so I can do this. They managed the hospital before me, and I can do this. I believe in myself. I mean, so I wanted to prove for these people that I can. I mean, that not only me, that women can. I mean, there's no difference. I can do this. I mean, and I said, I'm not going to fail, because if I fail, they will say that we try a woman and she failed, so all women can do this. And we were right. I decided to stay, hopeful, and to fight to make the hospital better and better. I mean, not to just argue with people and say only words. and I did my best. I hired some women, also nurses and other women in the hospital. They are also very, strong women. So I think that we did a good job. The hospital was developed, and it become, finally, after 2 years of I managed the hospital, it becomes the central hospital in the area. We had, a good, not enough, but a good medical supplies and medicine. Although, in a siege time, very hard time, we were able to deal with many, many big massacres. We helped the people. So yeah, and we protected the hospital, make these tunnels. So after the regime destroyed many hospital, our hospital stayed, and they couldn't destroy it. So I think, I was, I'm not sure, but I was a good manager, I think. And many men after this, they came to me and they said, you did a great job after all this. They changed their minds. That was very, optimistic, that to hear this from this man who always were against women. And that's, inspired me, because it's possible to change people's minds. It's possible to change this culture. And I always believe that it's impossible to change them, but yeah, it's possible. I could do something, and I wish I can inspire other women to do something.
There's a lot of countries still that harbor that ignorance. And you are now quite simply standing up. And there's got to be a lot of young ladies out there, and maybe even older ladies as well, that are turning around going, hang on, if this woman can do it, I can be the same. And as you say, that's motivational to the ladies, but it's correctional for the guys. The guys out there now are realizing that, hey, this is a culture that's not accurate. This is a mindset that's wrong. And you're valid proof that it worked. So your battle is being won again. You're fighting many different battles, or you were fighting many different battles while at Syria. And as you say, when you left, you had changed people's minds. Do you think the culture can continue to evolve and allow everyone to be viewed as equal?
Well, I mean, it's possible, as I believe, and I decided to stay hopeful. But it's not easy. I mean, women need
No.
to do a lot, a lot. I mean, still in my country, in Syria, and Syria is not very. I mean, it's I mean, good country, especially in this time in 21st century. I mean, people are watching technology reach out to us. So still the early marriage is a big problem. Still, allowing girls to study is a matter. I mean, in Syria, many girls are not allowed to study. So, we have a long way. I mean, we still have to do more and more. And I really respect, and I'm really happy with many women who are trying to do something different, trying to fight for their rights. And unfortunately, some women paid a very high price for this. I mean, just a few days ago, a young woman, and she's a women's activist, were killed in northwest of Syria, and I was really shocked to hear this. They killed her only because she was a member in a local council. They didn't want her to be there because she's a woman, and they killed her. So, it's not easy. It's never easy. I mean, some people pay their lives for this. So we have, I mean, all the women and all the men who believe in women's rights and equality, they have to support women to get their rights, to speak up for them. I mean, as a woman, we have to start this ourselves and to fight for ourselves. But everyone is responsible for this. It's a humanity. We are humans, so we don't have to talk, I mean, this way, this differentiation, especially between boys and girls, which I personally faced when I was a child. I mean, this difference between boys and girls. Many things are allowed for boys, not for girls. So this is unacceptable.
The beautiful thing about travel, and I've been very fortunate to travel, is I've been able to meet many different cultures. Some of them I agree with, some of them that I don't, but it opens up my understanding of a perspective. And a lot of these things that you're talking about, when you are young, your cultures are based on what you're taught. So you are raised with a certain understanding. Now, you've come out of that battle. You're now here in America. The Cave gives you the credibility and the notoriety and an Oscar nominee. So not everyone has that. So congratulations there. You've got the book, The Cave, out there. I want to ask, how are you finding that you are being received here in America? Is there still some ignorance there as to what you have actually gone through, who you are, and misunderstanding you from other cultures? How are you finding that you're fitting here in the US?
Well, I personally actually didn't face any any time like something like discrimination or something like this actually. Especially the good thing about the US is, I mean, very, very, different cultures, different people, different religions. So I like these things about America. But that happened, I mean, many times. I mean, every time it happens. I mean, I was in Europe. I was for 1.5 years in Germany, and now in America. These things happens. I mean, it's our responsibility to change this, because many people also do this or discriminate sometimes because they don't know. For example, some people ask me that you are now in the US, and I remember when I was also in Europe. I mean, you are now in Europe, not anymore in Syria, so why don't you take off your hijab? So, I mean, they don't know. So I just have to explain that it's what I believe in. It's my religion. It's not about the place that I'm in. It's about what I believe, what's in my heart about this. So sometimes, we're able to change this by explaining and telling more about other culture for the people. And sometimes it's, just cruel and hard to explain for someone who have this very, I mean, sometimes we face some extremist people. So it's not easy also to do this, but it's possible.
Oh, I love the grit. I love this. What are you hoping people are going to get out of the book?
Well, I mean, there's many goals of writing this book, and I think a lot before telling this story. It's not easy, I mean, to tell your story with all the details, with my personal, things, my family, and also the suffering of the people, the crimes that I witnessed, the massacres that I witnessed. It was very, very hard to me to tell this story, but I wanted all the world to know about the people who were suffering in Syria, the innocent people, the children who were suffering, the children who were hungry for no reason, who were under bomb. I was every day, seeing the fear in the children's eyes for no reason. I mean, they have nothing to do with this war. I wanted to tell their stories for the world. And I want to tell the world that people are still suffering in Syria. Many, many children who were besieged, for example, in my place in Eastern Ghouta, and they did displaced now to north of Syria, for example, or many places. Many or millions of these people now are living in camps in Syria, inside Syria and outside in Turkey, Jordan, Lebanon. They are suffering. They have nothing. I mean, nothing. Many, many children have no access for schools or education for now more than 13 years. So the whole generation now without education. I mean, 2 million people, children without education. They have nothing in this tent. I mean, in winter, for example, where the tent is drawn with water or snow that cover them. I heard just a few days ago, a child said in a tent, he said, we cried because of the cold. I mean, to see, I mean, our children around us are safe and warm. And just imagine and think about these children who cries because of the cold. They have nothing for heating and they have no hope. So I wish from this book to bring hope to these people by telling their stories, telling everyone about what's happening there, and telling everyone that it's a responsibility for human beings to support each other, to help each other. It's not something that you would like to do or not. No, it's your responsibility for everyone. I mean, sometimes maybe you need help and you can feel how frustrating it is when you see that no one cares, right? So millions of people need you. So read this book. read their stories, know the truth about Syria, and try to help them. I mean, there's many ways to help people if you decide to help.
What has happened? I hope it's not giving away anything from the movie, but what's happened to the hospital?
Well, the hospital now is under the Syrian regime control. So after they forced us to leave, they decided to close it. The place is still,
Okay.
but they closed it. It's not a hospital anymore.
Wow. Okay. It is an absolute, Dr. Ballour, it's an absolute honor to actually be able to chat with you. I said that at the beginning, and it really is just to find someone that's got the strength and the conviction to know when they have to do it, and to know the fights that you are fighting, both not only above the ground, but in the mentality and the culture of the people that were working with you. And when all you were trying to do was help, to still have some of those people going, hey, but you're a woman, and to be looked at as a lesser than, that just aggravates the hell out of me. So I'm pleased that there is that strength and fire and fight in you to do this and to bring the book out. It's just beautiful. We'll be putting the links in there. Is there any other promotions that you're going to be doing? Are you doing any tours or radio shows and things like that to get the book out further?
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
It's been an absolute pleasure. We want anyone out there that wants to get behind this to reach out to Dr. Ballour. If you want her to speak on your show, hey, reach out to me. I'll be glad to make the introduction. But thank you for coming on board the show today.
Thank you. It's my pleasure. Thank you.
Hey, thanks for listening to the podcast. You know what to do. If you love it, share, subscribe, but more than anything, do something with it. And remember, life's too short to play it safe. So disrupt, connect, and grow. See you next time.